Hello there guys and welcome back to 100% Chelsea for another episode of Chelsea Weekly. And we've got another few interesting stories for you. Getting straight into it, no faffling about. First of all, there have been reports about various players that Chelsea are in contract talks, or about to start contract talks with these players, which are Eden Hazard, Thibaut Courtois, Tammy Abraham, who's currently on loan at Bristol City, and Cesc Fabregas. So, mainly for all of those four, really, it's about fending off interest of other team, obviously, for Eden Hazard and Thibaut Courtois from Real Madrid, from Tammy Abraham, well, from pretty much any Premier League side because he scored 23 goals in the Championship. He's still most likely going to be loaned out to a Premier League side next season, but just so we can make sure we keep him, as our player and not sell him. And then for Cesc Fabregas, pretty much the same reason. Apparently, he's not really going to get an improved contract. He's just going to get an extended contract for a year. That's what I've read anyway. I'm not sure if there's actual serious interest by anyone, a serious interest by him to move. If someone offers him a lot of money, obviously there have been loads of reports about Inter Milan, AC Milan. I don't see any of that happening, but I'd be very happy if we, extend the contracts and improve the contracts with all of the aforementioned players. So, I'm very happy about it. Now, some not so great news, because the Daily Mail have put out an article about the redevelopment or the new Stamford Bridge. And apparently, we're facing some troubles at the moment. Apparently, we're facing 4 years away from, Stamford Bridge, whether it's the old one or the new one, rather than the 3 years which were originally being talked about. So the original plan, to my knowledge, was, well, not the original, but the plan that was kind of up to date until now, was that after next season, we would move out of Stamford Bridge, most likely to Wembley, for them to start tearing down the old Stamford Bridge, and after that, obviously, starting to build a new Stamford Bridge. There are apparently going to be some minor works being done around the ground next season already, but according to the Daily Mail, there have been building complications, in particular issues with building rafts over the railway lines around the ground. Those have apparently been troublesome. And apparently we're now only moving out at the end of the 18-19 season, so which means after this one, another 2 seasons at Stamford Bridge, if I can count correctly, I'm pretty sure. So, that's obviously not great. Obviously, the longer we have to be away from Stamford Bridge, the worse it is. But I guess you just have to deal with it in the end. Main thing is that it is being built. Not that I want on Stamford Bridge to be gone, but I think our club should have a bigger stadium, and I think it's not one of these fancy modern stadiums like Arsenal and Tottenham got. Although, especially the Tottenham one, in my opinion, looks quite good. I think it's good that we're going to build a different one, just to be different from all the others, because who doesn't build a fancy new modern stadium at the moment? We're going to build a bloody cathedral. I love it. I absolutely love it. Obviously, I'm not particularly happy about us having to, apparently, stay away from Stamford Bridge for 4 years. Because that's a bloody long time, 4 years is a long time. Comparing it, obviously Tottenham built, I think, but building their ground next to their current ground. So obviously it's not taking that long. They're just going to have to be away for 1 year. But, 4 years is a long time. So preferably, I'd rather it just be 3 years, if possible 2 years, but that's not happening. But yeah, coming to the next story, which is the main real transfer story, is about Virgil van Dijk. Because Chelsea are apparently confident to have beaten Arsenal to the £50 million signing. Apparently there was also Liverpool interested, but they were kind of just looking about here and there, but not really as interested as Chelsea and Arsenal. But according to The Sun, I mean, don't trust The Sun. Never believe what The Sun said. Well, I'm just going to tell you what they said anyway. Apparently, Chelsea are offering Andreas Christensen, obviously currently at loan at Borussia Mönchengladbach, out to loan to Southampton, adding to the £50 million transfer fee. Like, what? What are you doing? There have been other reports by other newspapers saying that if we do sign Virgil van Dijk, Zuma is going to be loaned out. Well, let's get this story straight, right? First of all, £50 million for Virgil van Dijk is ridiculous. I'm not 100% sure if he counts as homegrown. Either way, it's ridiculous. He's a good defender, don't get me wrong. And he's definitely better than John Stones, who City paid £50 million for. £50 million for Virgil van Dijk. You having a laugh? I mean, I guess he would always have been expensive because, Premier League transfers have just gotten ridiculously expensive. But 50 million? What? And then to loan Andreas Christensen out to them, who I think is actually at least on the same level as Virgil van Dijk, because I think Borussia Mönchengladbach, a better structured club in general. Their level of football is probably similar, But he's managed to gain experience there in the Champions League and also the Europa League, which Virgil van Dijk hasn't really. Have they played in the Europa League? I think they might have done. But Borussia Mönchengladbach played in the Champions League. And, you know, Christensen has done well all season long. He's done well for the last 2 seasons, really, in his 2-year loan. So, I find it absolutely ridiculous. Kurt Zouma, on the other hand, you know, I can understand if he's being loaned out. It would make sense. I'm still not happy about us paying £50 million for Virgil van Dijk if that's the reason why Zouma has to be loaned out. But Zouma isn't really playing a lot. And after his injury, he's seemingly finding it difficult to get back into the side after, you know, obviously being pretty much a starter before picking up his injury. So I think a loan for him wouldn't actually be so bad. I think he has still a lot of work to do on his technical ability, because I think that's kind of what he's lacking at the moment, especially in a 3 at the back. If you look at his position, the 3 at the back seems to be the right-sided centre-back position, which is where usually Azpilicueta plays. And Azpilicueta has the most completed passes in the whole of the Premier League. And, you know, Azpilicueta has obviously been a fullback, he's played wing-back as well. His technical ability is really good. And I can't really say that for Zouma. And if that's the one who he'd kind of replace at the moment anyway, he's just not going to get a look in, especially if we get Christensen, who I do rate very, very highly. And, you know, Virgil van Dijk, who's been a regular for a number of years in the Premier League. So, I do understand it. Wouldn't even think it's a bad move if we loan out to Zouma, if we've got enough players and enough good players as backup at the club. But yeah, that's, you know, that's the story. But again, £50 million for Van Dijk, I find that a bit excessive, let's say that. Anyway, that's really it from me. Leave me all of your thoughts down in the comment section below. Would you be happy with us extending the contract with all of the 4 players I mentioned? Eden Hazard, Thibaut Courtois, Tammy Abraham and Cesc Fabregas. What are your thoughts on this whole story about Stamford Bridge? You know, the redevelopment or the building of the new Stamford Bridge taking longer and us having to be away for 4 years, which is, like I said, is a very long time. And then lastly, your opinions on the whole Virgil van Dijk saga. I don't think anyone would be happy with giving them Christensen plus 50 million, because that's just ridiculous. Now, Christensen on his own is probably worth that because he's younger. But, you know, and then, you know, your thoughts on getting Virgil van Dijk if that means loaning out Kurt Zouma. You know, just as I said, leave me all of your thoughts on all of those stories down in the comment section below. Leave a like if you did enjoy the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. We massively do appreciate that. Help us get to our next target of 30,000 subscribers. Thank you guys for watching. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Up the Chelsea. And I'll see you next time.